you ever feel like the big time, I've got a cabinet at home you'd do wonders for.
Judith, I've missed you. I tried to call.
It's been a while, I guess.
Well, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm all right, you know, for a while, and then I'll find a hair ribbon in the dryer or an old picture. Then the hurt starts again. And the anger.
You have a right to be angry, Judith.
But it's eating me alive. See, I've got nothing left inside of me except rage. At John, at Amy, at everybody. At me.
Why you?
I knew Lynn would volunteer to take Amy if I mentioned it. See, if we had just taken Amy...
Lynn would be alive today, right? Judith, a million circumstances put Lynn on that spot, in that road, at that exact time. You can't claim them all.
But she didn't deserve to die.
No, she didn't. We can't alter what's happened, Judith. In the end, all we can do is move beyond how our loved ones died. Have you talked to John about how you feel?
No.
He wouldn't understand?
John wouldn't have time. He's busy with trials and lawyers and God knows what.
Why do you suppose he's doing that, Judith?
He's doing it for himself, not for anybody else.
Is it possible he's doing what he has to do to get through Lenny's death?
How can he stand it? How can he relive the same horrible details over and over? I can't face it.
You're not John. There's no right or wrong way to grieve, Judith. You must each find your own way.
You coming to bed?
I can't sleep, Judy. All I think about is him. Hour after hour and day after day. Oh, God.
John, what you're trying to do has to be done. I was wrong about that before. But what if this quest takes us over and becomes uglier and worse than what happened to Lynn?
Judith, don't ask me to stop. If I do, then Lynn is just another statistic, and I can't let it end that way.
I'm not asking you to stop. I'm asking you to talk to me, to keep caring and loving me. Please don't ever stop loving me, John.
Jules. Oh, honey. Nothing in this world could ever make me stop loving you. Nothing.
I was afraid you had stopped. That you blame me as much as I blame myself.
Never. There's only one person to blame for all this, and it's never been you. I love you. I love you. Judith, if Reese should call while I'm gone, tell him.
Don't make too much of this. I'm no hero.
You want a what?
A continuance, Your Honor. Our expert witness in the field of gas chromatography method of blood testing, Dr. Granger, is testifying in California.
He's not the only expert in this area, Counselor.
No, Your Honor, but he is our preference. And he was available 30 days ago when the prosecution was without their witnesses.
Will you gentlemen approach the bench, please? All right, you're even. Now listen carefully. I want to go with this in 3 weeks, September the 12th. No excuses, no delays. Understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, I don't like the delay, but I had a couple of new ideas lately. At least this will give my investigators time to check them out.
Great. Turn every stone you can bet Webster will.
My God, he's driving his car.
Well, he still has a license. For now.
His blood test proves he was drunk. The sheriff's report shows that he was at fault in a fatality.
As far as that goes, he's got 2 prior DWIs, but he's innocent until proven guilty. That's the law.
Are you telling me that man was arrested twice before for drunk driving?
I'm afraid so.
John?
Fisk, where do you get the guts? Who gave you the moral right to sit behind that wheel? How the hell do you sleep at night?
I sleep fine. Get the hell out of the way!
And you... How do you sleep knowing that this man may go out tomorrow morning and do the same thing again to some helpless child? Tell me how! Come on! Go ahead.
Mrs. Chernoff, this is John Peterson. The State versus Fisk trial starts today. My wife and I just wanted to make sure that your son Larry would be there. His testimony is extremely important. Oh, he will be great. No, I was just double checking. Thank you very much.
John, keep your hopes reasonable.
All right, Larry, you were riding your bike along Brockton Lane, about a half a mile from Langley Road. Then what happened?
This station wagon came out of nowhere, and it swerved around me clear into the other lane.
And then?
I heard a crash, and I got to the intersection, and I saw this wreck. And Mr. Wilson was helping the driver out of the station wagon.
Is the driver you saw being helped from the station wagon in this courtroom?
Yeah, he's, that man in the blue suit.
Thank you.
Larry, I'm curious. On Brockton Lane, when the station wagon passed you and swerved, you riding your bike off the pavement?
No. Kind of on the right-hand side.
How many lanes are on that road?
Just 2. Yeah, 2 lanes.
Well, then, any vehicle coming up behind you, in order to avoid hitting you, would have to move out into the middle of the road, correct?
Yeah, I guess so.
So, after you helped Mr. Fisk out of the station wagon, Mr. Wilson, did you notice anything out of the ordinary about him?
Yes, I did.
What was that?
I smelled alcohol on his breath.
Did he say anything to you at that point?
He asked if anybody called an ambulance. I told him yes.
Was there anything unusual about the way he spoke?
Yes, his words seemed slurred.
Now, you say you smelled alcohol in Mr. Fisk's breath. Could you tell me if it was a beverage with a high alcoholic content?
No.
Could you tell me how much alcohol Mr. Fisk had consumed?
No, I can't.
You say Mr. Fisk's speech was impaired. Just what did Mr. Fisk say to you before the police arrived?
Did anybody call an ambulance?
How many words is that?
5.
Had Mr. Fisk said anything to you before that evening?
No.
Are you a linguist, Mr. Wilson?
No, I'm not.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Warren, I just want you to know you're doing great, man. Just great.
Oh, thank you, John.
I mean, this guy, Webster, he's a pretty tough cookie, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty tough, but I'd say we're holding our own.
Yeah, we just gotta...
Listen, John, just try and relax. Now, we got good witnesses. I got a good dossier, a .19 blood count.
That's right.
Just stay loose, huh? I'll let you know when to start worrying.
So after the accident and the hospital, I took Mr. Fisk to the station along with his blood sample. I booked Mr. Fisk, and later that morning I forwarded the blood sample to the county lab.
Have you received the results of this analysis?
Yes, I have.
Do you have the report with you?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, at this time, I would move admission of the defendant's blood analysis into evidence.
Objection, Your Honor.
You object, Counselor?
Yes, Your Honor. May we approach the bench?
You may approach.
I would prefer to know first on what grounds.
You'll find that out. Out of the presence of the jury.
What's going on? Something's wrong.
All right, Mr. Sawyer, relax.
Does he look relaxed?
It's gonna be embarrassing.
I think that you should first have the test before we...
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, a technical matter has been brought to the court's attention. This requires me to rule on an issue of law. During the inquiry, I would like you to retire to the jury room for a brief period of time. Thank you.
Deputy Caskey, on the night of the accident, what time did you arrive at your station with Mr. Fisk to book him?
11 o'clock.
And you brought his blood sample with you at that time?
From the hospital, yes.
Now, you said you submitted his blood sample to the lab the next day. When?
About 9:30 in the morning.
So you had the blood sample in your office for 10.5 hours?
That's about right, sir.
Were you in your office the whole 10.5 hours?
Yes, I was, sir. Well, except for the call.
What call?
After we booked Mr. Fisk, I was called out of the station on an emergency involving an armed robbery.
Until when?
About 6:30 in the morning.
And when you returned from this emergency call, where was Mr. Fisk's blood then?
On my desk where we left it. We put it in the locker, we ate breakfast, and I sent it to the lab with the morning run.
So the entire time you were away on this emergency call, Mr. Fisk's blood was on your desk?
At the station, right.
Unattended?
Well, not exactly. There's always deputies there. There's always someone in the...
These other deputies, do they sometimes use your desk when you're away from it?
Sometimes.
For what purpose?
Well, interviewing witnesses, booking suspects, but they never...
So it's entirely possible, isn't it, that while you were away from your desk for 6.5 hours, leaving Mr. Fisk's blood sample unattended, that somebody else could have tampered with it?
There is no way anyone would have fooled with that particular...
You're aware, Deputy
because...
Caskey, that departmental regulations require you to place any unattended blood sample in security locker for safekeeping.
Yes, but we didn't have a chance, and there is no way...
I have nothing
again,
further at this time, Your Honor.
Deputy Caskey, was it an emergency which caused you to leave your station before securing the sample?
Yes, it was.
Was the sample on your desk when you returned?
Yes, it was.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I object to the admission of this exhibit into evidence. We simply do not know if this very crucial piece of evidence is valid.
Your Honor, it is highly improbable that the sample was tampered with at any time. It was in the sheriff's station, guarded by official personnel.
With all respect, Counselor, we have these regulations for a purpose. During the time that Mr. Fisk's blood sample was unsecured,